Well, hello everyone and welcome back to another video of F1 22 Driver Career Mode with Williams, episode number 19 today for the United States Grand Prix of Season 1. If you missed the previous episode at Suzuka, I recommend you go and check that out, and of course subscribe if you're new to the channel, see plenty more F1 22 Driver Career Mode videos. But coming into this one then, as revealed in that spoiler previous episode, we got a regulation change on the aero and the chassis side, so we're just going through and adapting as many parts as we possibly can. And that rear wing covers though from the previous episode that we purchased has come through though, so that's going to give us a little bit of a boost. Not enough though, because again, spoiler, the last episode we weren't the slowest team on paper, but now AlphaTauri brought an upgrade, as have Aston Martin, and we've fallen behind again. Ferrari bring an upgrade to try and challenge Red Bull. Alpine back in front of McLaren as well. But you know, there's a lot of stuff on paper, but whether or not that we're going to be on track, that's what matters. So we head to qualifying then to Austin. It's an okay track for me. It's not a great track. It's definitely not a favourite track of mine. Sector 1 isn't that great.
We've got a bit of a situation at the moment. Seems like something's off with the fuel injection system. We're looking into it, but we're going to be out of action for a few minutes.
Cannot be serious!
I swear it's every other episode we get some sort of fault at the start of qualifying. But anyway, qualifying is actually going usually well. We're down here in last place, so you know, I mean, the pace is slow. As well, you can see we were half a tenth up as we go through into the S section, as this is such an awkward thing to drive. Actually gain time there, a tenth up, but we're 2/10 down on our teammate ALBON as well. We're now moving to sector 2, still at this moment in time losing time at the AIs. Valtteri Bottas is out of the session. This is how he was letting Mercedes pie and then just decides to go into the back of him into turn 1 as well. So yes, back to our thing, as the sun has decided to blind me now. Apologies about that. That's just a glitch. It's a known glitch, but it hasn't been fixed. I actually don't know if it's been fixed on 1.08, although this of course recorded on 1.07, I should point out, on the old patch. So we'll need to see on Monday's episode at Mexico City whether or not the AI have actually been fixed for our career mode or not, because I've seen a few people who have actually saying that no, it's that the fixes that they've made haven't actually worked. But anyway, as we come through the final corner and get blinded again by the sun, we're 6/10 up on our previous best time. Albon has improved up to the line then, 6 or just under, losing time at the final corner, and it's only enough for P19. So typically, well, Russell on pole. Can he get back-to-back wins? Norris P2. Leclerc will be happy with P3. Not what Verstappen and Perez need. They're 5th and 6th. Sainz dropping to P7. But yeah, for us, well, 19th on the grid. Hopefully there's some grid penalties. It's time for the race.
Welcome once again then to the United States Grand Prix here in the magnificent city of Austin. It was here in 2018 that Kimi Raikkonen delighted the world by taking the top step of the podium for the first time in 114 races. There's always a record to be broken, so what, I wonder, is in store for us today? It's the Circuit of the Americas then, situated 14 miles outside the great city of Austin. This is a 3.6 mile lap with 20 corners, 10 to the left and 10 to the right. Top speeds are around 200 miles per hour. Overtaking opportunities are available in turns 1 and 12, especially with that rear wing DRS wide open. Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. George Russell will begin today's event in pole position, edging out Lando Norris, who'll start from P2. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Leclerc, Hamilton, Sergio Perez and Sainz, Ricciardo, Fernando Alonso, Ocon and Mick Schumacher, Magnussen, Gasly, Max Verstappen and Tsunoda, Vettel, Bottas. They'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. Phoenix and Lance Stroll. Albon, they've taken a grid penalty. And Guan Yu Zhou. That's it then. It's time to go racing as we head down trackside for today's race. Natalie Pinkham joins me once again in the commentary box. It's fantastic to have you with us today. I'm curious though, how do you think the drivers stop those pre-race nerves from becoming overwhelming when you're lining up on the grid?
Well, I imagine they'll be starting to feel the adrenaline as they anticipate the rundown into turn one, a bit like preparing to go into battle. The unknown situation will bring nerves, but that's a good thing. It'll keep them focused on the moment and on their surroundings as we build towards the start of the Grand Prix.
Okay, here we go. I know what you can do. Don't let me down.
Thanks, Mark. Yes, there are some penalties, but it's only put us up 2 positions. And Albon is one of those penalties. He could have got points. We're unable to get points, and he's got to carry the flag. Race strategies are 1 stop soft to medium. So private lights then for the United States Grand Prix at Austin, and away we go. And it's a mediocre start. I'm trying to get in front of Bottas. We're actually going to get in front of Bottas because he's been caught napping by Stroll, I think it is. But they're dying on the inside. There's a bit of contact with Verstappen. Not trying to make contact with Verstappen, but being squeezed by Stroll there. We're going to dive Stroll down the inside at that corner and move up to P14. So it's been a good start. Made up 3 positions off the start. Unfortunately, the AIOP slipstream is still in this episode, so that's not slipstream, traction, excuse me. So we're going to actually turn it into to fence into attack and get Gasly down the inside as well. Move up to P13. So we're already making the moves that we need to do, especially for Haas, because there's a Haas car ahead of Sainz. That is a thing. As Sonoda decides just to turn in on me. Thank you very much. We just need to get past as quickly as possible here. Sonoda is although the AlphaTauri in theory should be a faster car, Sonoda and Gasly have not been able to use that. But up at the front then, it's still it's a all British 1-3 because Hamilton has taken Leclerc off the line. But for Norris, he is starting to drop back. As well, so can the 4-year-old hold on? And that is Esteban Ocon into the back, I think, of Kevin Magnussen. Ocon was ahead of Sainz as well, so Sainz going backwards again, although he is on medium. Is that medium tyres for Sainz? No, it's softs. Now we're going to have a go at Ocon. We're going to try and dive it down the inside here and get the position again. He tries to turn in on me as well. I'm not trying to give it. And then just look at this. We've got DRS. We're not employing ERS, but just look at he just breezes past as well. But he's got no front wing, so we're able to do this. Again, we try and take a tighter line because he just decides to turn in unnecessarily, like I'm not there. But he's going to be coming to the pits. We've now got Albon, and at this point, not Albon, Verstappen, excuse me. At this point, I've just given up on let Verstappen go. He's in a much faster Red Bull. Hopefully, he can get in front of the Hasses as well, who are 10th and 8th as well. So we want to try and get in front of the Haas. Haas is the team that we're chasing in the Constructors' Championship as well. Albon's not too far behind, so if there's a bit of shenanigans, we can get both cars into the top 10 as well. I think Verstappen though should have the pace to move on. Nice stop, 2.3 as well. Stroll, Ocon have come casualties of front wing, so we are actually the first person to make a stop that isn't for a front wing, and there is Magnussen. So the undercut has actually worked an absolute treat right round the outside, and we've got him. So Magnussen was ahead of us quite so uncomfortably. He must have got held in the pits by Verstappen possibly, or a front wing change. But there is Schumacher coming out of the pits, and there's contact between the Hasses. Steiner's going to be absolutely livid with both of them because one of them is going to have to come in now. as Lando Norris has had a terrible time. As I mentioned, he was falling back and he kept getting overtaken by DRS. You know, losing DRS, the car in front, just showing the true pace of that McLaren as well. So it's Schumacher, not Magnussen, and you know, that's a little bit better for our Drivers' Championship, not so much for the Constructors. We are holding on for P10. There's a bit of contact there between, I think this is Sainz and Alonso. Sainz is on the hards for some bizarre reason. You know, it's Ferrari as well. They're going side by side, but Alonso gets the position. So Sainz is down to P8. And we're going to start doing some tactical manoeuvres on Schumacher. You know, a little bit of a switchback manoeuvre there. It doesn't quite work, but hopefully trying to get the better exit with DRS and ERS deployed. All we would need is a rich mix to complete the trio, but sadly, like on F1 20, like on last year's game, it's not available. Schumacher, to be fair, keeps the inside. We have to go to the outside. He keeps his foot in, unfortunately, and we're able to get the position the inside the next corner. But unfortunately, this is only for P10, you know, so we want to keep everyone behind. I'd much rather have my teammate there, Albon, than Schumacher. But at the same time, you know, Albon wants to be fighting for points as well. Schumacher, again, we're going to let him go to get DRS. But this time, he locks up badly. Albon tried to go around the outside. We were able to get the position. As well now, Schumacher and Albon are going to be fighting. Look at the traction that Schumacher's got off that corner, though. We have DRS, though. Hopefully, this has been fixed, as I said. It should have been fixed in the patch, but as I've heard reports that some people it hasn't been fixed. As Albon now is going to battle Schumacher, that's going to give us a bit of breathing room. Ocon's done a great recovery drive after having no front wing at time, and he's coming back as well, just to show how slowly that I've got no pace around here whatsoever. We've done a 39.6 as well. Verstappen and Sainz are moving away as there's contact between Albon and myself, and Albon has driven into the back of me. You know, I don't know what I'm shedding there. The black bits coming off the car. That's a bit alarming, but yes, I hope that's not tyres. But you know, he just ran into the back of me. That is, well, that's a mistake by Albon that's cost him. Well, we weren't going to allow him to get points anyway, but he's gone wide at the triple right-hander, and he's got no front wing, and that's him with a pit stop as well. And that, you know, him having no front wing has at least slowed up Ocon and Schumacher. But you know, Albon vying to continue his, you know, he's rediscovered his form of late. And you know, he was looking to get a triple 3-point scoring positions in a row, but that meant overtaking myself. You know, maybe if 40 could have caught Verstappen, but you know, with only 2 laps to go, that was unlikely. You know, Verstappen being in a Red Bull. So we continue my point scoring streak. You know, Russell from Hamilton and Leclerc will be very happy to be back on the podium. Perez P4, Norris down to P5, ahead of Ricciardo, Alonso. Verstappen didn't get past Sainz in the end, which is interesting that Verstappen didn't manage to in the second in a faster car. Albon, Gasly and Magnussen all made 2 stops as well. So in the standings, it's an extra point on Ocon, Magnussen. Ricciardo, though, is moved up to P13 with his point scoring position now. He'll be looking to overtake us, but he's only 11 points behind now, so that's the really only concern there. We closed the gap again on Haas to 10 points. Haas hasn't scored for several races now, so you know, they are a sitting duck. Hopefully, I want to work together with Albon, but clearly he's getting frustrated running into the back of me. You know, we're here to fight for the positions together, not for destroying each other's races. So yes, next up will be Mexico. I'm hoping Mexico, historically, the past couple of games has been a better track, as has Brazil for me. Those 2 have been good tracks as well. I think we can, if we work together, if we're both in the top 10, I think that myself and Albon can get Haas, because Haas, you can see Haas last scored in Italy with Magnussen. That was 1 point. So, you know, I mean, other than that, they haven't really scored that many points compared to our point scoring streak. So, yes, that episode will become with the new patch on 1.08 on Monday. But if you have enjoyed this episode, then leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and you see plenty more F1 22 Drive Cremo videos as when they come out, going into Season 2 in a couple of weeks' time as well. Till the next video then, I'll see you next time. Take care, thanks so much for watching, enjoy your day, and goodbye.